Just enjoying a delicious cup of dark roast coffee by a brand that is not a sponsor, but hey, what are you going to do? I'm Steve Harper. Welcome to the Ripple Effect Podcast. I am doing a solo episode today because I want to talk about a topic that has just kicked off all sorts of side conversation. I posted in our pond. If you're not a part of the pond yet, I encourage you to go over and check it out. It's ripplecentral.com/POND. If you are committed to be a Rippler, if you're committed to doing good in the world, if you're committed to connecting and building authentic relationships, we want to welcome you into this community. If you are a marketer, if you are a salesy sales kind of person, if you are only interested in building your business, and you want to look at this as another way to pontificate your wares, don't come. All right. Not that I don't love you people, but that's not the purpose of this. This is not a sales network. It is not a way to build your list or build your business. It is a place to authentically connect, get exposed to great ideas and great content, and ultimately build your tribe of people that want to be there for you, want to support you in whatever you might need. So if that sounds like something that would be of interest, come check it out, ripplecentral.com/POND. So I wanted to jump on here because in the pond recently, I posted a topic called "Perfect is the Enemy of Good Enough." I heard this phrase one time with a guy that I was doing some consulting work, and he was struggling and was frustrated because his development team was, quite honestly, not really doing what he asked, which was get the product shipped, get the product out the door. It didn't need to be perfect. It needed to be in existence. And I remember him putting this phrase on his door, and I thought it was interesting. So I asked him about it. He said, in the world of development, if you wait for things to be perfect, you'll never, ever put anything in front of a customer. You'll never bring anything to market. And honestly, if you leave it to developers, they'll tweak that thing to death, right? Because they are skittish about their work product. And your first release should be ugly. Your second release is probably not as ugly, but still ugly. Your third release, probably a little bit more attractive, but still buggy and still has challenges. You're getting it out there for people to start using, giving you feedback, telling you why they hate it, and all the while you're absorbing that information and you are iterating on the back end so that every new release, you're getting a little bit better. And the goal isn't to eventually arrive at the perfect destination. The goal is to arrive at a product that will be acceptable. And oftentimes, that's just a product that's good enough. If you think of all the different services, all the different things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, you think about Twitter. Twitter, is not perfect. It has its challenges and issues and always has, and nobody complains. Nobody leaves it for that reason, right? You put up with the ridiculous errors and challenges that Facebook or Instagram go through when they're trying to do things. We accept it as consumers. And yet as individuals that are looking and focusing on our work product, we often think, oh my God, if it doesn't work just exactly perfect, then we are going to be, somehow just completely rejected by the marketplace. And it's just simply not true. There's obviously work that has to be perfect. You want your lawyer and the contracts that they write to support you and to help you grow your business. You want those things to be pretty darn close to perfect. But even there's a little wiggle room, right? You want the design of your house to be perfect. You want to make sure that there was proper vetting of where you put your house and the foundation that you built on it. And you want to make sure it just doesn't collapse around your ears. I get those things. And you can argue those till the cows come home. There are circumstances for sure that absolutely applies. But what I'm talking about is our work product, our offering to the world. And I guess part of the reason that this came up was recently someone in my circle, who I'm not officially coaching, but I'm informally coaching, is in the process of launching something significant for their business. And they're going through iteration after iteration, and they're asking for feedback pre-launch. And I finally had to ask him, this is like the third or fourth time you've come back to me with this, and you want me to look at this program, you want me to go through this. Well, I just need to know that it's perfect before I put it out there. And I understand. I also suffer from this. But what I realized in the time that the conversation started and I was asked to evaluate this to the time that we were now having this conversation, months had gone by. Months of zero revenue, months of zero progress, months of nobody else other than his select few who he didn't think would be super harsh or would be easy on him in terms of the feedback. Did he at all think about the fact it wasn't producing a dime of revenue? It wasn't in front of his real target, his customer. And he was taking that information that we were providing, three of us that don't have anything to do with this industry, three of us I can tell aren't the best people to be in contact with in terms of this idea. They are the ones that he selected to do the do the data, right? Or collect the data, collect the feedback. And he's striving for perfect. And so we ended up having this conversation, which actually prompted this post that I did in the pond, which kicked off some great conversation. But perfect is the enemy of good enough. Good enough was in iteration 1 for this guy's idea, his program. It's not software, it's actually a course. I liked it. I thought there was a lot of value. Yeah, are there things that could be different? Could the fonts be different? Could the colors be different? Could you more prominently display the look? You could go, could you, should you, all day long. But that doesn't help him grow his business. And I think about that. And that was on my mind when I posted this. But then I ended up speaking to somebody else yesterday, as a matter of fact, that is stuck in that idea purgatory, right? They are in neutral on this thing that they really want to push out and launch themselves. And I asked them what's holding them back. It's just not right. It's not ready. And I asked this person, she's a very great entrepreneur, but she has in her work history taken way too long to get product to market. And when you get to that point, sometimes competition or your next closest next closest competitor launches ahead of you. And that's happened on 2 of her things. And so I said, what is the issue? And she said, it's just not perfect. And I said, you're clearly not reading my stuff in the pond. What is going on with you? But we got into the conversation and I said, when will good enough be better than, where you think it is today? When do you think it's at least at a point where you can launch it? And maybe you're like, I don't know. Gosh, I hope they don't hate it. And she's like, I just can't do that. It has to be perfect in my mind. And I think that's the problem with a lot of us, a lot of entrepreneurs especially, but a lot of people that are just out doing the work, right? We burn a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort focused on making whatever it is perfect. And if it's not perfect, we don't want anybody looking at it. We don't want anybody to know about it. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to share it. And how many great ideas, how many great situations are missed because of it. And I go back to that sign on the door for my consulting client who just basically took the adage of just ship the damn thing. People will tell you when it doesn't work. People will always tell you what they don't like. But here's the thing, even when you put it out and you think that bad boy is as perfect as it will need to be, you will find someone out there who will hate it. You will find someone out there who will always say, here's what you need to do to make it better. You will always find someone who doesn't think it's nearly perfect enough, right? But they're going to be there regardless. And they probably would have given you the exact same feedback if you had shipped it at the good enough stage. And so as I had this conversation with this person yesterday, this great entrepreneur, I reminded her of her earlier situations. This idea is solid. This idea has promise. And this idea has the luxury of being iterated along the way. It doesn't have to be perfect today. It doesn't have to be you know, the cat's meow when it launches, it can be where it is. And if you want to acknowledge that for people that are signing up, or you want to acknowledge that when you're selling or pitching, like, look, this thing is going to evolve. It's organic. We are getting it to a point where we are at alpha, beta, version 1. There'll be new versions. There'll be new iterations to this thing, but your feedback will be critical to us. And because you're coming on board early as an early adopter, yes, you're getting a lower price because we want that feedback from you. That's our give back to you to say, hey, please use this. Go through this process. Go through this program. Do this, use this technology. Try this app, whatever it is, and give us the feedback so that when we really feel like we're ready to take that feedback and adopt it and then go to version 2, 3, 4, whatever, you will have played a big role in that. I own a software company, and it has given me new perspective on this process. And there have been times where, yes, I probably was too demanding as a CEO and said, just get it out there. And then customers, beat us up because it maybe wasn't ready for prime time. And then I've been on the other side where I have been like, well, hang on a sec. Before we do that, let's iterate here. Let's iterate there. Let's fix this. Do we think the color scheme is right? And you all of a sudden get yourself in this cycle that just absolutely murders you. And in the end, you spend way too much time on things that probably don't matter a great amount. And you end up costing yourself more in the work and the prep and doing things without realistic, real life feedback. So I wanted to make this episode because I think that we have to look at where we are in our lives, in our work, in our creative spaces, in our attitude to this topic. Are you somebody who has to be a perfectionist, and because you are, you never seem to ship it, you never seem to deliver it, you never seem to get it done? I still tend to fall on that side. I'm working on a game for Ripple that I just not quite ready to put out there because it just needs to, and I need to follow my own damn advice and just get the thing out there. I need to start collecting feedback. I need to start saying, hey, look, this baby may be ugly, but tell me how ugly it is. But do you get it, right? But I think that there are a lot of us that suffer from this. And when I think about perfect, nothing is ever perfect. There is always going to be problems. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be issues. And it is truly the enemy of good enough. It's good enough, Steve. Get it in front of a customer. It's good enough, my friend. You know who I'm talking to because you know this episode is going to be about you. It has been good enough 2 versions ago. Get it out there and start collecting the feedback. If you have any trepidation, tell people, look, we're going to make this as best as we can, but this is what we have today. I have had to get comfortable with that with my software company. I have no idea why I am struggling with it on the board game, but I am. And I pretty much need this talk for myself as much as I needed to provide it to these entrepreneurs that I'm advising and guiding. And when I think back to some of these experiences about why that phrase even got put in my head in the first place, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Holy crap, that makes sense. Yeah. Why don't I listen? Why don't I listen, people? I don't know. It's easy for me to tell you to go do it, but then I'm not doing it. And I'm like that heart surgeon, right? It's like telling you, hey, man, you need to lose some weight. You need to stop eating red meat. You need to put down the cigarettes and the whiskey. And as soon as you leave the office, you're doing all of those. I'm not that guy, honestly. But I needed this conversation to occur more as a cathartic reasons for myself as it is to point and illustrate out to you. If you don't suffer from this, good on you. I really appreciate that. But the more people that I've talked to and the more people that this has sort of bubbled up into conversation within the community, it's funny how, I'm kind of guilty as charged. There's probably more on that side of the fence than there are like, man, screw it, just put it out there. I don't know. I don't know, but I will say I do know one thing. If you never get it to market, if you never get it in front of a customer, and you never ask for the money to pay for it, and say, what that is a little bit of a discount because I want your feedback and your input, and tell me what you love, start there. I always want to know what you love. Tell me what you would like to see improved. Never tell them to say, tell me what you hate. Because when you put that idea in somebody's mind, they will go to the ends of the earth to tell you so many things they hate. But if you just say, look, I really appreciate your feedback, your input, tell me what you'd like to see improved. But most importantly, start with what you love about the idea, what you love about the product, the app, the course, the whatever. And just be prepared that not everybody's going to be your biggest fan, and not everybody's going to see the thing that you see, and not everybody is going to appreciate the fact that you've kind of pushed it out into the market. I'm not going to say rushed it, pushed it out into the market, and that you are building the plane on the way down. But that's okay. The vast majority of us will, and the vast majority of us get it, understand it, and we live it day in and day out with all of this crap that we use in our own personal and professional lives. So join the club, my friend. Join the club of perfect is the enemy of good enough. Good enough is ready to go. Ship it. Ship it. All right, we'll be back with another episode of the Ripple Effect Podcast very soon. I apologize. We've had a little bit of a hiatus. I would love to say it was because I was on vacation. I was like, oh yes, I was sunning the south of France. I was not. We just had too much going on, too many things going on. And I've got episodes queued up, ready to rock. I just have not released them, and I will do better. I promise to you, I will do better. I will focus on not waiting till everything is perfect, and I will produce these episodes with vigor, and I will get those good enough episodes out to you as soon as possible. But thanks for always listening. Thanks for being a part of this process. Don't forget to go to the pond and sign up. Go ripplecentral.com/pond. You can find that post, by the way, when you log in and you do this. Under the latest from Ripple Central, you'll see my post. It was back on July 29th. And when you do sign up, please do 3 things for me. Headshot. Come on. Let us see who your smiling face is. 2, fill out your details so people know who you are about, where other social channels and things you hang out. And then go to the introduce yourself under welcome to the pond and introduce yourself, please. Because that's the only way our Ripplers get to know you. So, until next time, my friends, go out there, make a difference in the world, make a difference in someone's life. You will make a difference in your own life. And as always, ripple on. Do, 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 do. That was good enough. Yeah. That took longer than you thought it would because you talk too much. You talk too much, Steve. I know. I do.